Hello, this is Stuart Plumbing. Tonight we're going to do some further navigation from the forums. As you recall, I have the flash table and we have an edit button here. It's waiting to reinitialize. And that edit button is a set current row with key value. And it also has an edit action on it. And if we go to the flash table task flow, you can see that the edit action is here. I'm going to be adding an add also, so that when we add a record from this form, it'll go and automatically add it to here. And it's getting a little bit messy. So rather than have this edit behind the button, what we're going to do is fix it so that we're going to change that, and we're going to change this so that it's just done. Go to the table here and change this button to done. Since it's no longer edit, and we're not editing anymore, it could be done adding, or it could be done editing. Okay, so we'll have that set. Okay, let's go over to the flash table, and what we're going to do is drag a create insert onto the table here and do a add, and then when this is done, it's going to do create insert and just go. Now we're also going to do the set current row with key, so we'll drag that on. We'll leave that set for now because I don't have the direct value right now. And we'll just say edit. And this is just going to go over to here. And we'll just leave that as is. Okay, let's get the value from the edit button. And really it's get it from the existing edit button, which we're actually going to take out. We'll get it from here instead. And I'm going to get rid of that. It's probably easier just to replace it with an existing button. And go back to my property inspector. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a red message here for a second. And that had to do with the fact that we changed the button. We actually added another button with the same exact name, so it went away. But if you look down here somewhere, behavior, you can see that the partial trigger here is set to CB1. So you have to look out for any changes that you do and what it will affect on the page, because it's all connected. Okay, so sorry, let me just get this again. Okay, now we have this, but we haven't set the key value for it. And so what we're going to do is going over to the flash table. Now when we press the edit button, we're going to add a operation, and it will be a set property listener on the button. So I'm going to get the structure window visible and move that over to the button. Now I still don't have this value, so I'm just going to put in for a minute, and we're going to set it to the page flow scope, and we'll call it flash ID. Okay, and this will be an action since it's a button. Now I'm just going to get this value from the button and replace it there. So now when you press the button, this set property listener will fire, and it will take the current row binding value and then place it into the page flow scope flashid parameter. Now this value we need to now set on here, and to do so you double click it, and that will open up the page def file for that. So remember that you double click. It's not on the properties or anything like that. You actually have to double click it and then click on there if it's not already selected and press the pencil and put this value in here. Okay, we just have one thing to do. Let's go to the Flash table and set our button to edit. We're going to put an add here. This, by the way, was dragged over from here. You just drag it on as a button. I'm not going to do so, and I frankly don't think I need this here. Earlier I had considered being able to make edits here, but I really want to consistently make my edits on the form rather than on the table, and just keep all editing done here. Okay, so let's test this out. Okay, first we're going to press edit. We'll go to this record, and in fact we go to the 188 record. Don't have my other property listener set. The done button will show up if I have that set. So let's quickly do that. Okay, I'm on my Flash form, and if you look over in the rendered property here, it says page flow scope for forms buttons equals show. So if forms buttons equals show, then it will display. So let's set that. Now what we need to do is go to our Flash table, and on our button again we're going to set yet another property listener. And hold on, I want to get my structure window here. Okay, so we're going to have two button set property listeners on this button, and don't quite recall the values, but we'll put something in for now. And we'll have to fix this because I don't recall what the value was. Not a big deal, really. Flash form. Let's get the property inspector for done. Okay, so form buttons and show is the value. So let's just go back to my table, go back to the second property listener, and I think it was a capital letter, and that looks okay. Okay, let's go to a record, 186, and you can see we're on 186, and we're going to press done, and we go back. Okay, now the other thing that we want to test is the add. And it occurs to me that if we press add, we do get a new record, but we don't have the done editing or the done button showing, so we do need to set the same property listener for the add. And that's easy enough to do. We did it already. I won't show you now. So that's basically how to drag and drop some methods. These methods are methods that are available to you on the data control, but On the other one that we did earlier on a different video, we actually dragged a method that we had created in the view object impl Java class. I hope this is informative. Have a good evening.